Yes, today's topic is hybridization. Now we will discuss this in detail. Uh, in the beginning, let me tell you that this concept, the concept of hybridization, it comes into play at the time of covalent bond formation. So when there is bond formation and covalent bond formation, at that very time, this concept comes into play. Now, before stating hybridization, before defining hybridization, let us take a few elements. For example, beryllium, boron, and carbon. Beryllium has atomic number of 4. Its atomic number is 4. Atomic number of boron is 5 and that of carbon is 6. Now let us go to their electronic configuration. Its electronic configuration is 1s2 and 2s2. Then electronic configuration of boron is 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py0 and 2pz0. This is 2p. We can accommodate 6 electrons in 2p, but here I have only 1. Similarly, in carbon, the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2px, 2px1, 2py1, because I have 6 electrons here and Z will remain vacant. Now, coming back to beryllium, we find that in beryllium we don't have any half-filled orbital. Half-filled means this is s orbital. Its electronic configuration can be written like this: 1s, how many electrons? 2. This is 2s orbital, how many electrons? 2. Here 1s orbital, how many electrons? 2. Then 2s orbital, this 2s, how many electrons? 2. Then 2p. 2p has 3 orbitals, 1, 2, 3. This is 2p. This is x, this is y, this is z. 2p x1, y nil and z nil. And in case of carbon, we can write its electronic configuration like this: 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1 and Z will remain vacant. Now what we find in their electronic configuration? In the electronic configuration of beryllium, as far as the valence shell is concerned, this is first shell, this is second, this is the valence shell. Here this is the valence shell and here this is the valence shell, second shell. This is 2p. Now let us find how many half-filled orbitals are there, because when we talk of covalent bonding, covalent bond is formed between half-filled orbitals. That means your element that should have half-filled orbitals. And if we consider beryllium, we find that beryllium has no half-filled orbital. These are completely filled orbital. So as per its electronic configuration, your beryllium should be inert. Inert means it should be not reactive. It should not react. It should not combine with other elements. But the fact is that beryllium is not inert. It does form bonds. Similarly, if we come to boron, in boron we find that your boron has 2 half-filled orbitals. But we know that boron is a trivalent element. Trivalent means it should have 3 half-filled, but it has only 2 here. It has 2 half-filled. Beryllium is always divalent in its compounds. When it forms compounds with other elements, it is divalent in nature. Similarly, when boron combines with other elements to form compounds, it is trivalent. And as far as your carbon is concerned, if we look at its electronic configuration, we find only two half-filled here. But all of we know that carbon is not divalent. It is tetravalent. It should have 4 half-filled orbitals. So, in order to address this problem, there is a concept of hybridization. Now, what is hybridization? What hybridization actually means? In hybridization, what happens? These orbital electrons, these orbitals, that is electrons in the valence shell electrons. That why valence shell electrons? Because those electrons have approximately same energy. They have a minor difference in their energies, so they can undergo this concept. They can undergo hybridization. But what we have to understand at this point of time, that what is hybridization? Hybridization means, first let me clear that this concept is taken into consideration at a time when there is bond formation. That means your beryllium, your boron, your carbon, they cannot undergo hybridization in isolation. When they are in atomic form, they can't do it. They do it at the time of bond formation. For example, if I take the example of this carbon. Carbon, this is the valence shell of carbon. Now, what we mean by hybridization? In hybridization, we means this is first shell. No change will take place in the first shell. Whatever changes are to take place, they will take place in the valence shell, because this concept is limited to valence shell. What will happen in the valence shell? This is valence shell. This is 2s. This is 2p. Now see, how many electrons I have? 2, 3, 4. Now these electrons can be redistributed in these orbitals. Why only in these orbitals? Because these orbitals have approximately same energy. So these electrons are to be redistributed. They will intermix. For example, I intermix them. I will do one thing. This electron will get promoted to this orbital, that is 2pz. Now this and this another electron, this will jump to this orbital and this will remain same. So what has happened here? One electron from 2s orbital that has jumped, that has been promoted to that 2pz orbital. And as a result, how many half-filled orbitals have been formed now? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 half-filled orbitals, which have been formed by intermixing of electrons, these orbitals, the new orbitals, are known as hybrid orbitals. So how many hybrid orbitals are there in carbon? There are 4. But this hybridization takes place only when there is bond formation. I will take some examples when I will form some compounds with carbon as one of the elements. Similarly, in boron, we have how many half-filled here? 2. But as I said, boron in its compounds is trivalent. So what should happen here? Here, one electron even can jump from here. From where? From the other shell to go here. So what will happen? There will be 3 half-filled orbitals. These 3 half-filled orbitals means your boron is a trivalent in its compounds. And then coming to beryllium. Beryllium is not inert. It is always divalent. So what will happen? These electrons will move. This one electron will go to 2px and it will remain 1. So how many half-filled? 2 half-filled. So 2 half-filled means it is divalent. So your beryllium is not inert. It is divalent in its compounds. Similarly, your boron is trivalent in its compounds, and your carbon is always a tetravalent element in its compounds. So this is why this concept has been taken. So now we have come to know that what is hybridization. So hybridization is intermixing or redistribution. Redistribution means again the electrons were distributed. It is intermixing or redistribution of electrons in the orbitals. Which orbitals? Of equivalent energy. Those orbitals which have approximately similar energy. So intermixing or redistribution of electrons in the orbitals of equal energy. But when they redistribute electrons, when they intermix electrons, at the time of bond formation, not before the bond formation, at the time of bond formation. And which bond formation here? Covalent bond formation. So how covalent bond is formed? Covalent bond is formed by intermixing, by overlapping of atomic orbitals. When atomic orbitals of one atom, they overlap with atomic orbital of another, half-filled orbitals. Both should be half, only then your bond will be formed. So now when this intermixing takes place, there are some conditions which must be followed. That is, for hybridization to take place, some conditions are necessary. What are those conditions? First condition is that this concept, that is the concept of this hybridization, that takes place only in valence electron. Only valence electrons are involved. Only valence electrons are involved in hybridization. As far as possible. As far as possible, only valence electrons get involved in hybridization. This is one of the conditions of hybridization. Then we have another condition, that is those atomic orbitals where intermixing is taking place, where hybridization is taking place, they should have equivalent energy. So the atomic orbitals taking part in hybridization should have equal energy. That is, only those atomic orbitals hybridize which have equal energy or approximately equal energy. If there is any difference in their energy, that should be very less difference. So this is another condition for hybridization. Then one more condition is that in this concept, sometimes filled and most of the times half-filled orbitals. Filled and half-filled orbitals take part, but in most of the time only half-filled orbitals they hybridize. And then one more condition is that when promotion takes place, promotion means when electron jumps from one orbital to another, so that excited state is formed, that promotion should take place at the time of only bond formation. That means excitement of electron, jumping of electron, excitement of electron takes place when? Only at the time of bond formation. These are some of the conditions necessary for hybridization. Then this hybridization has some features, silent features of hybridization, that when hybridization takes place, what features we have to look at. Those features we can call as silent features of hybridization. Let us take them into account. As I just told you that when hybridization takes place, the hybridizing orbital should have approximately same energy. So the atomic orbitals undergoing hybridization should have approximately same energy. So which orbitals should be taken for hybridization? Which have approximately same energy. This is one of the silent features. Then when atomic orbitals combine, when atomic orbitals hybridize, suppose two atomic orbitals are hybridizing, new orbitals so formed called as hybrid orbital, they should be equal in number. That is, number of unhybridized orbital must be equal to the number of hybrid orbitals. Number of hybridizing orbital must be equal to number of what? Hybrid orbitals. What does it mean? It means that suppose if two atomic orbitals are hybridizing, so how many new orbitals? New orbital means hybrid orbitals will be formed, same number of. So if two atomic orbitals are hybridizing, two hybrid orbitals will be formed. If three atomic orbitals are redistributing their energy, three hybrid orbitals will be formed. This is another feature of hybridization. Then hybridization gives shape. It decides the shape of the molecule. The shape of the molecules is decided by the type of hybridization. So when we know the type of hybridization, for example, we have many types of hybridization, say sp hybridization, sp2 hybridization, sp3 hybridization. These hybridization we will be discussing them later on. Depending upon the type of hybridization, the shape of the molecule can be decided. So this is another feature. Then when hybridization takes place, then attractive forces, because you know when a bond is formed, two types of forces come into play there, attractive and repulsive forces. For a stable bond, these forces, that is your attractive forces, they should be greater than the repulsive forces. Attractive forces must be greater than the repulsive forces, so that a stable bond is formed. So these are some features of hybridization. Now we have this was hybridization. Then there are types of hybridization. We have many types of hybridization, but we shall be discussing them in next lecture. So for today it is sufficient. Thank you very much. 19 मिनट हो गए थे क्या?